By the end of this video, you will know how to study effectively. This is a very important skill to have if you are going to college next year. If you are entering the workforce, this tutorial will still be beneficial because the same process will apply if you need to learn new information at your job. But this video mostly applies to the students going to college. College is going to be much more difficult than high school. For starters, you will not have the one-on-one teacher experience that you have in high school. The college curriculum is also much more demanding than high school.
The first thing that you want to do is make a study schedule. This is important to do so that you do not have to save all of the studying until the night before. I would recommend getting a calendar to put all of the upcoming dates and events that are happening in your life so that you can see what free time you have available to study. Set aside a couple of hours every day to study for your tests and write those times in a calendar. Make sure it is at a time where there are no interfering plans. You should study at least 2 hours every day for your classes. Having a quiet study environment is imperative. The first step to getting this perfect study environment is to gather the materials that you must work with. This may include your book for whatever subject matter you are studying for, pencils, pens, highlighters, sticky notes, and notebook paper. Next, go to a room with no noise and a desk to study at with a comfortable chair. This environment should be comfortable enough for you to focus, but not so comfortable that you will end up falling asleep. Once you find a comfortable study environment, you should make sure to leave all distractions out of the room. If you think that people will interrupt you studying, it may be a good idea to lock the door or put a do not disturb sign on your door. If you cannot find an effective study environment at your house, you can go to your local library. Now that you have the perfect distraction-free study environment set up, it is time to start studying. This step will vary depending on what subject you are studying for. If you must read the material to study for a course, take out your sticky notes, highlighters, pencils, and a piece of notebook paper. Next, begin reading. When you begin reading your book, put sticky notes on your book to summarize important points. Use your notebook paper to write cornell notes over the main ideas and summarize the chapter. After, check to see if your teacher gave you a study guide, and if he or she did, make sure to focus in on the topics included on your study guide. If you run across a word that you do not know, make sure you look it up online and write the definition in your notes. If you are trying to study for a math or science test that involves you working out equations, do the study guide and make sure that you know how to do all of the problems on the sheet. Now that your notes are all done, it is time to memorize them. People have many different methods when memorizing. The first effective method is to read over your notes and ask someone to quiz you. Then write all of the questions and answers that you got wrong down on flashcards and study them until you have them fully memorized. If you need to memorize a list, you can make up a mnemonic device that are nonsense sentences that include the first letter of each word in your list. Another strategy that people use is rewriting their notes. If you rewrite the notes, make sure to rephrase them because it will make the information stick in your brain. With whatever way you decide to study, it is very important for you to practice by quizzing yourself. There are many apps on the App Store that can help you quiz yourself as well. You can download Quizlet, enter the information into the app, and after choosing whichever method helps you study the most, you can memorize the information this way. You can download this app or other apps to study if you think it will be beneficial use of your time. If you are studying for a subject that does not involve memorization like math or physics, first you should complete the study guide with all of the correct answers on it. After you have looked over the study guide and think you know how to do the entire thing, print it off again and complete it for a second time without the use of your notes. Pretend like you were taking the actual test. While you are completing it for the second time, circle the problems that you have issues doing. After you are done, go back and study the problems that you had trouble with. Then go back and write down all of the circled problems from your review and attempt them again without your notes. Once you feel completely confident in your ability to solve all of the problems on the review, you should be ready for the test.
Good study habits are not the only thing that you will need to help you succeed. Scientists have found that the better sleep that you get the night before the test, the better you will do. This means that you should not stay up all night studying. It is more important to rest.
You must be confident before you take the test. Do not think negative thoughts like, I am going to fail this test. Always remain positive before taking the test because when you do, your visual cortex takes in more information. Right before you take the test, repeat to yourself, I am going to ace this test because I know this information. I am confident in my abilities. You will feel more confident in yourself, which will cause you to perform better.
Hopefully you now know how to study effectively. This will be beneficial for college because it is imperative for you to know this skill in order for you to earn good grades. Make sure that you remember these steps the next time that you have to study for a test. If you complete this process and try your best, it will pay off.